The story of Moses is on a whole new level of weird. Moses, an Israelite, was born and raised in Egypt. One day he ran away from Egypt. Why? Because he killed somebody. He was exposed for murder, so he ran away from Egypt and went all the way to Midian. And there he settled for 40 years. Wow, talk about self-exile. He was a shepherd. For 40 years, he got a kid. Kids, I don't even know, but he got a wife. So then, I guess one day in the bush, God showed up in some really strange way. So here's where the story starts to pick up steam. Moses was in the bush and the bush was on fire, but it wasn't consuming. So Moses got curious and he's like, what is going on? So he starts to go closer and closer. I'm thinking to myself like, oh man, I would have been out of there in no time. But no, you would think Moses was some really brave guy, but not even close. Just hang on. So Moses is going closer and closer. And God must have been like, hold up, boy, take up your sandals at least. And Moses is like, wow, this must be some holy place. Wow, look at what's going on here. Anyways, God starts to speak to Moses. So he tells him, you're going to be the guy to liberate my people from the hand of Pharaoh. Wait, let me say that slowly. God tells Moses, you are going to be that guy that will save my people, the Israelites, from the hands of Pharaoh in Egypt. Moses must have been like, I don't even know who is talking to me. And Egypt, me, Pharaoh, there's no way I'm going back there. Anyways, now God tells Moses, listen, I will certainly be with you. Wow, certainly. Now, when I read that passage, certainly, I was like, that was too much reassurance and comfort. I mean, God tells me, I will be with you. That should be enough. But he said, I will certainly be with you. Wow. Anyways, that wasn't even close to convincing Moses. Moses must have thought, I know these people. I know Pharaoh. They have all kinds of God. God of the sun, cow goddess, God of chaos, Nile. Trust me, the list goes on. So God of, who do I say sent me? These people have all kinds of gods. So who do I say sent me? Which version are you? I hate to sprinkle some reality on your parade, but none of these guys are going to believe me. Even the Israelites, they're not even going to believe me. I can assure you that. God showed him a few signs, and that definitely dazzled Moses, but it still wasn't enough to convince Moses. Moses was like, God, please, can you find somebody else? Like, I'm on the most wanted list. Can you just find? I'm on the most wanted list in Egypt. I can't go back there. And God's like, chill. All those guys that wanted to kill you in Egypt, they're all dead. Moses like, but God, please. I can't really speak. I can't really speak. I mean, I know you really trust me, but I don't want to ruin the vibes. Could you just find somebody else? At this point, God is getting a bit angry with Moses. So, God now tells Moses, listen, your brother Aaron, he's coming. All right? He'll be your spokesman. So, go get prepared. Get yourself ready. No more excuse. Case closed. Let's go. Now, Moses packed his things and he was ready. Now, the next passage is what actually inspired me to make this video. I felt it was just like out of nowhere. Now, hold on. Let me read it. And it came to pass on the way at the encampment that the Lord met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at Moses' feet and said, surely you're a husband of blood to me. So he let him go. Then she said, you're a husband of blood because of the circumcision. Hold up. God just finished convincing Moses to go to Egypt, and all of a sudden he sought to kill him. What height of confusion. Well, let's unpack the moment really slowly. It turns out that was not random. That was intentional. If you read carefully, it's not even confusing. It's actually terrifying. Let me slow this down. God just finished giving Moses a divine assignment. Go to Egypt, confront Pharaoh, deliver my people. Powerful. But somewhere between the calling and the journey, God stops him. Not to encourage him, not to bless him, but to kill him. That should bother you. In fact, it bothers me. Because this is the same God who just said, I will certainly be with you. So what changed? Did God change his mind? No. Moses had a problem. Let's go deeper. God had already established a covenant with Abraham, and that covenant had a sign: circumcision. It wasn't just optional, it wasn't a cultural thing, it was an identity. God literally said, any male who isn't circumcised will be cut off from his people. Now let's think about this critically. Moses, the same guy that God called to lead the people of Israel, had not circumcised his own son. Technically, he was walking in disobedience. So God must have been like, you want to represent me publicly, but you're ignoring me privately. We're not moving forward like that. And suddenly, judgment shows up on the road. No warnings, no negotiations, just action. And that was when Zipporah, Moses' wife, takes a sharp stone, performs the circumcisions, and throws the foreskin at Moses' feet and says, surely you are a husband of blood to me. You are a bloody husband. She must have been the first person that said that in the Bible. Now, don't miss this. God didn't stop the assignment, but he refused to ignore the compromise. Let me bring this home, because this is not just about Moses, it's about us. We pray, God, use me. God, send me. God, I want to do great things for you. And God is probably looking at us like, what about the things I already told you to fix? You want a platform, but there's disobedience in private. You want influence, but there are compromises you have normalized. You want to represent God publicly, but you're avoiding him privately. Listen carefully. God will not anoint what you refuse to straighten up. The same God who calls you will be the same God that confronts you. Please support by following or subscribe. Thank you. Shalom.